Brought to you by Powermouth Productions.
Powermouth. Blessings to you, Powermouths. Welcome to Speaking More Life. Powermouth Speaking More Life. This is season 2. Yes, it is. I say it again. This is season 2, and this is episode 11. Thank you. All praises to God. Amen. Hallelujah. So, as we are kicking off a fresh new season, okay, I've got loads of different great topics that I can't wait to delve into with each and every one of you. So please do continue to tune in. Please do continue to check me out, man. Just check out my podcast. You know what I do, it's real issues, real talk. So it's good because it's all about progress. So you may be asking, I can hear you, what is this episode about? Okay, so episode 11 is called The Ma in Marriage. Let me break it down for you. Okay, so it's the Ma in marriage, M-A-R. Okay, we know that in the word marriage, it has those 3 letters, Ma. Well, what does Ma mean? Okay, Ma means ruin. It can mean despair. It can mean impairment. It's about, especially linked to marriage, I'm speaking about, relationship impairment, the issues, especially the breakdown in communication, which causes issues within marriage. The damage, the ruin caused in marriage by words and actions. So this is what I will be speaking about today. Yes, we're taking it there. Okay, because marriage is a promise. Marriage is a blessing. And so therefore, as much as we take care of ourselves, and we know it's important to take care of ourselves, it is important to take care of our relationships, and it is very important to take care of our marriages. All right, so let us jump into the conversation. Okay, so I'm married, as many of you may know. You may not know that, but I am married, and I don't classify myself as a newly-wed couple, because we are not. Okay, I've been married. We are actually coming on to 19 years in July. Praise be to God. Hallelujah. So, I have been with my husband for a long time, and I'll let you into something as well. We were together for 9 years. Yes, 9 years. Okay. Before we got married. And that's why you've heard me say before, listen, none of this long thing. Okay. When it comes to engagement, we didn't have a long engagement though. Our engagement was for a year. We were engaged for a year, and so as soon as we got engaged, we got planning our wedding, and we have known each other since practically babies. We've been with each other since the age of 17, so we've had to grow with each other. And I'm telling you, as my husband would tell you, the person that you marry, they will develop and change over time, especially if you have been with them at a tender age, and you start to grow and to get to, find yourself more. You do, you get to find yourself more. So at the age of 25, my husband asked me to marry him, and I accepted. And at the age of 26, we got married. Okay, so that's a bit of history about my own marital situation. Am I blessed being married? I would say I am blessed being married. Is marriage easy peasy? Oh, no, it is not easy peasy. It is a blessing, but it's not easy peasy. You have to work at your marriage. That's why when Oh, people, they'll get married and they don't even think beyond. They don't even think beyond, the wedding day, because they're so swept up and taken away with being called a husband or wife and having the ring on the finger and having everybody at the ceremony, and of course it's your day, so you are the star show of the day, but it's so sad when that is where it ends. There's no inclusion of the future commitment together, or even God in the relationship as well, because I'm telling you, I believe you need God in your relationship. He's the foundation. He must be the foundation, because as marriage is as it is, it can be testing. You will wake up sometimes, oh Lord, and look at your spouse and think, you know, so how can we get past that? How can you get past that? And just work things out? Well, I'm telling you, communication plays a massive part. Commitment plays a massive part. A vision together plays a massive part. Now, what can cause the MAR in marriage, the MAR in marriage, to stand out and sometimes take over marriage? The different issues, the impairment within the marriage, the lack of communication, and even sometimes the lack of love and just serving one another. What can cause it? There are many things, and obviously each marriage is tailored to those two people, but I think that there are a few things that remain, and as I've mentioned before, that is loyalty, commitment, determination, appreciation. There's so many things that should be within a marriage. And did I say communication? If I didn't, I'll say it again. Communication, absolutely. Because I believe that is one of the biggest reasons why relationships break down, because it is the thing of not communicating or not wanting to communicate. And that can happen because pride can get in the way. Pride can get in the way of two people saying, hey, come on now. I know that this is a bit of a rough time that we're going through, but we can work it out. Remember, we're here for the long run. And so pride has to go. Pride has to die in order for our marriages, in order for marriage to live. Now, if people are truly committed to their relationship, and when I'm speaking about commitment, I'm talking about even before you get married. It's like, what? I'm entering into this marriage, and this person is this is my ride and die. This is the person that I'm spending my life with, no matter what may come through sickness, through whatever. I am in it. Okay, I am in it to stay. Then I believe you will have a great chance at making amends or fixing whatever issues that may come or reveal itself within marriage along the way. And by the way, keeping it real within marriage, and even before you get married, about marriage, is the way to go. I think that all this kind of fairy tale thing needs to get banned. that people are relying on for a great marriage, because it is not that way. Now, I'm not saying that marriage isn't great. Marriage is great. Mighty God, I'm telling you, it is great. It is great. You will have some great times in it, and just knowing that you are connected with that person and that they are there for you and you are there for them, and it's a union that is meant to be. you know, that is a beautiful thing. But you know, there are some that enter into marriage on the whim of a fairy tale, because they've seen all that they've seen in the glossy magazines, and then they may have couples who have only been married for a few months or a year. And I'm not disrespecting anybody who are newlyweds, whatever, but I just don't feel that you should be giving marital advice to others yet. Not just yet. Mind you, there are marriages that go through it even in the first year. You know, they really get at it in the first year for whatever reasons. And so therefore they have had the experience of, you know, issues within the marriage, which, you know, I'm sure or hoping that they would learn from and recover from and just continue on their relationship. And so they have something to share with someone who maybe is going through it. But I just, for me personally, I would want to take advice from, you know, a couple, from a married couple that has been in there for the long run. You know, there's longevity there, and not just based on longevity, but actually by the fruits that are seen of their marriage as well. Because, you know, there are actually married couples that have been together for years and years, and it's not the best of relationships, put it that way. It's not the best of relationships, still no communication. They are just there. They're just there. And they're not even keeping each other company. They're just there. Just because they're just there. And to me, that's not healthy as well. So for me, I would want to receive my counsel from somebody that I see the fruits of their marriage, and it's not fake, you know, but you can see the realness there. And also longevity is a good one to put in there as well, because they've been through many years. And as I've said, I've been married for coming up to 19 years. So I, you know, do understand that, you know, as, you know, each year goes on and everything, you know, there are things that take place and whatever. And, you know, you have to, this is a person that you're spending your life with. So therefore, you have to make up in your mind that, you know what, we're going to make this work. Whatever happens, we're going to make this work. We're going to grow together. We're going to love one another, and always remembering why you got together and why you are here together, why you are in this, you know, promise, why you are in this commitment with one another. Now, over the years, I have heard some most ridiculous things that have come out of people's mouths, like, well, you know, if it doesn't work, then I'll just get a divorce. Why would you speak those things? Why would you just speak those things like that even before you've even got married? You know, it's like you're kind of condemning your marriage before it's even allowed to kind of grow and to live, you know? And so, you know, as you know, words are powerful. So I just don't believe in making those statements, you know. I believe you need to go into your marriage positive, thinking, you know what, this marriage is going to last. I'm going to do all that I can to nurture this marriage as well, to give all that I can in this marriage. Because when you say words like this, you add value, you add life to marriage. But once you start saying things like, well, if it doesn't work out, I'll just get a divorce. I mean, come on. One of the first books that I have written, and it's not published yet, but I will be looking to do that at some point soon, was called Life Beyond the Altar. Yes. And, that's speaking about, after the I do's, after you say I do. So I'm actually really looking forward in going back into all that I've written. And I'm telling you, it's been a learning process for me over years, because I've wrote this a few years back. But as you know, um, you grow in your understanding and everything as well. So I'm really looking forward to going back and applying more of my knowledge to that book as well. So that's one book to look out for me in hopefully the near future. For anybody who goes into a marriage thinking, yeah, this is me, just cozy, it's a cup of tea, isn't it? It's a cup of tea and fluffy socks. Well, it really isn't like that. Not all the time, anyway. Okay, you will have your cup of tea, and I'm sure you will sit down with your fluffy socks. But there are some things that will need working at. Okay, there are some things that need working at, and it's going to take more than a cup of tea and some warm, fluffy socks to sort out whatever issues that may arise. Now, within marriage, there could be all kinds of problems. I mean, we're talking financial problems that could put a strain within marriage. There could be the issues of health that could put strain on a marriage. It could be the pressure of dealing with family life. You have children, and when you have children, of course, there may be some other stuff that may be going on there as well that can put pressure in that relationship, in the marriage. So there are so many different aspects, and I just believe that if we can just get it right, if husbands and wives can just get it right with the respect that they have with one another, honoring one another, even if you disagree on certain things, but just having that determination just to make sure that your home is a peaceful home, is a happy home, no matter what else is going on. I just believe that when a husband and wife is together, and when they come into agreement in how to run their household and look after their family, then that adds strength. It really does add strength. And when they also realize that sometimes there will be down days, right? Sometimes the other person will have down days. They may have something going on at work or whatever. But to be a listening ear and just to be understanding, and sometimes not just making it about yourself, but actually being there for the other person, then that is a great thing to have as well. So when things like the financial issues come into play, you know what, you come together, like, and say, what, how can we work this out? How can we sort this out? How can we make this situation better? And you're not feeling the brunt too much of it, because you two are supporting one another. So it's not one against the other, which can happen. Sometimes a problem can come in, and then this is a common problem with husband and wife. They're both taking on this issue, and they're dealing with it in their own way, and so therefore it's kind of leaving a separation between them, and hubby's processing it in a different way, and wifey's processing it in a different way, and nobody's coming together and communicating, but they're coming together and they're bickering. or they're arguing, or there's frustrations there. And again, it's because of lack of communication. So I'm just saying, when we can get this, you know what, the attitude of, no matter what comes our way, we're gonna stick together and stay in it, and we will get through it, then that is something so powerful to have, instead of when things come, it, you know, in the way of, or into the marriage, you separate. No, 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 you were joined together for a reason. You were joined together. That's more power. That's more power. Don't separate, and don't separate and half the power. You know, you need the full force. There is so much beautiful things that can come out of marriage just by that joint union. You know, there's so much beautiful things. Of course, your children as well, but even the different assignments that God has placed within your marriage, for both of you to take on together as well. And it's wonderful, you know, and even raising your family is a ministry in itself. Mighty God. I mean, like that department right there, that one's a big one, okay? Because for any of you who may know, when you have children as well, you know, there can be things that can happen, okay? They get older, anything can happen, and you've got to learn how to steer that wheel when it comes to the family as well. Having patience and love, and the fruit of the spirit, you know. So yeah, being married is no joke, but it brings a lot of joy if the couple are committed to making sure that joy sticks around within their marriage. No matter what may come, they are going to enjoy each other, enjoy their marriage, enjoy their family, enjoy that gift that was given to them. Now, when it comes to this topic of marriage, it's so meaty, and it's like, how can you do it within a short time, and you can't really, because there's so much different things to speak about when it comes to marriage. So, you know, I'm kind of going through and picking out what I kind of really want to discuss, that I feel is important to discuss. And one of them is the ways in which we speak to one another. You know, there's this thing of, just, you get so used to the person that, you know, the way you speak to them is, it's just not right. It's not right. And I just feel like everyone needs to keep a check of that, you know. Why would you want to speak to somebody that you're going to spend the rest of your life with in such a way that would be disrespectful? Because you have to spend your life with this person. Would it not be best to speak to that person in a way that makes them feel sweet? So they make you feel sweet, and the atmosphere is sweet, especially if you're spending the rest of your life with them. You know, we have to take these things into consideration. If you're spending your time with somebody, you want things to run as smoothly as possible, because let's face it, there's going to be different other things that can just come in and really, really, you know, throw a challenge in there. So it goes back to what I was saying about just being respectful to one another, in action, in the actions that we do, and also the words that we say to one another, the tone of voice, you know. I remember many years back when I was going to God, and I hope my husband doesn't mind me saying this. But yeah, so I went to God, and I was just complaining of my husband. Because you take things to God, right? He's a foundation. You go to God, and I would hope that me getting on my husband's nerve, okay, he would take it to God. He would go to God and talk about me to God. Okay, I really do. Okay, because God is the foundation of our marriage. So I did this, right? And so I see myself as God's baby girl, so I can just go and speak to him. So one day I was saying, and look at this and look at that and blah blah blah, and look at what is, and look at this and look at whatever, and I heard as clear as day God say to me, but look at you. My mouth dropped wide open. My mouth dropped wide open. I was like, what do you mean, look at me? And he said, but look at you. And I just stopped talking. And I just, when you take a look at yourself, it's almost you come out with yourself to take a look at yourself and how you're behaving. And I did that. And when you're humbled as pie, like you just bite on your bottom lip, you're just humbled. Your head bows down before God. Lord, forgive me. Forgive me, Lord. Forgive me. I see it now. I'm sorry. But mighty God, I was not expecting God to, what is the words? Well, he told me basically. Sternly. It was in love though, lovingly, but sternly. And I wasn't expecting that, because I was wrapped up in my own world of look at him and whatever, him. And God was like, look at you. And then it brings me back to that Bible verse in Matthew 7, 3-5, verses 3-5. And this is from the New International Version. I'm just going to read. I'm taking you to church right now. It says, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite. First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Now, there is nothing more that can be added to that verse or said about that. But all I know is that when God said, look at you, this was the verse that came to mind. And I didn't even really know the verse word for word. I had to even just look it up just now as well. But I always remembered about the plank in the eye when we're talking about somebody who's got a speck in their eye, and so even with this Bible verse, I try to live by it as well, so that I'm not judging people, and I try to look at things in a different way. I do try. It's not easy, but I do try. So even for what God did that day for me in letting me know that, Glenna, you are not innocent, and baby girl, you need to remove that plank out of your eyes because it isn't helping you right now, because you're not seeing clearly. So I was able to check myself before I wrecked myself, okay, and the issues that were there were able to improve. And I bet you could guess what, whatever situation that was happening then needed. Yep, you guessed it, communication. Yep, you guessed it, respect. Yep, you guessed it, just commitment. All of that. Love, tenderness, all of that, So last year we celebrated our 18th wedding anniversary. As I said, we've been with each other for a while. And And you know what? It was such a blessing. I really felt like the Lord was saying, you know what? Celebrate, 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 celebrate. And so we did. We celebrate. And don't get me wrong, there was so much going on in that year. But we stood the test of time, you know. I'm not just speaking about in our marriage. I'm talking about just everything else that was just going on, that was just happening. It was a crazy year, including getting extension onto the house, whatever, and and all the dramas that can come with that, and just various other issues that families can endure. A lot of things was going on, but we were determined. It was like God had settled it within my heart and my husband's heart to celebrate our marriage, celebrate our love. And we did last year, July, and it was fabulous. We had our friends and families come out with us, come out to celebrate our 18 years of marriage. And, you know, we were thankful, and we still are very much thankful, you know. Like I said, we've known each other from 16, been together from about 17. And here we are, mid 40s, you know. So we've had a journey, and I don't want the journey to end. And it's not going to end, because I'm power mouth, so I speak words of positivity. I speak life, you know, and we are in agreement, myself and my husband, that, you know, our marriage is good. Our marriage is sacred. It's a blessing. And so that is what really does matter. And the fact that, you know, God is in it, and God is there to help and guide us. I would just like to encourage anyone who is married at this moment, and, you know, you're going through some issues, you're going through a situation, and you're not communicating well with each other. And in fact, you know that maybe it's pride that has got in the way. I can't address all issues right now, so I'm just speaking to those who may fit into this kind of category of husbands and wife, of a married couple, those who may be going through something, and, you know, you're not communicating with each other, and the problem may not even be that great of a problem. It's just maybe you're tired, you're worn out, you're fed up, you're frustrated, but you still love your spouse. There's love there. And you know, you've had some great time. You've had some fantastic times. Oh my goodness, you've laughed with each other. You've hugged on each other. You've been there for one another when the other one may have been going through something. You know, you were going through it too with them. So I'm urging you, you know, don't let your marriage run down to nothing. Whatever is there right now, grab it, take a hold of it, and just come together, come with what you got, and just try to build upon what you have. If it's a lack of communications, build upon it. Start speaking with one another. If it's a lack of respect, then start to put into place respectfulness, whether in actions or the way you speak to one another. Whatever it is, do not give up on your marriage. Work at it. There was joy there. The joy has not ran away. It has not gone. It's still there for you to tap into. It's still there for you to access. But there has to be a willingness to access that joy within marriage. There has to be a willingness to communicate with one another respectfully. To commit is a promise. And so please remember the promise that you made, and do not break it. Do not break the promise. Okay, work at whatever it is that needs working at. Pride has to go. It has to go. Can you imagine if God was not committed to us, where we would be? I don't even want to even imagine. But I know that God loves us. He's committed to us. He's there for us. Okay? So he is faithful. And so we have to learn from God as well. And we need to be faithful within marriage, faithful to one another. All right. So I'm just encouraging anyone who may be going through a time. And you know what? Marriages, they go through it. You get times where it's maybe not the pleasant of times, but I'm telling you, you can get through it. Oh, yes, you can. You can get through it. Remember when you got married and all the excitement around it and the laughter, and hopefully you had a honeymoon period as well, you know, those times. And also remember the times where there were some hard times, and you stuck with one another, and you were able to encourage one another as well, you know, when maybe nobody else was around, but you had each other. Don't forget those moments. Don't forget those moments. And you just placing all the issues on top of the good memories. So we want to smooth over the mar in the marriage, okay? And we want the marriage to age gracefully. Yes, yes. We want the marriage to age gracefully. That means many more years to come. And we need to speak that into our marriages, you know, for many more years to come. You know, toast to that once in a while. Many more years to come of our marriage. It's a blessing. So please hold on to your blessings. Okay, so I think that's enough for me on this topic. Like I said, the scope is so wide for marriage, and I will definitely come back and revisit, you know, speaking about on marriage again. But for now, I'm going to love you and leave you. And as I do so, please don't forget to show the love to your spouse within your marriage, in your household. I'm telling you, love makes the world go round. Okay, and love is very much needed to have a healthy relationship, and all the other things that we talked about. So till next time, pal mouths, take care. Speak to you soon. And believe it, and you speak it. If you think it and believe it and decree it, power mouth.